Okay, so welcome to the Forge Coffee Break. This is the episode number 19. We are almost reaching the 20th episode. And thank you very much for joining today. And I think we started just a couple minutes late, but I think we already have a topic from Volodymyr. So let me bring you in. Go ahead.
Hello to everybody. My name is Vladimir. I'm started to work with Forge maybe for 1 year, and our company is now creating a solution for exporting IFC 3D views from the Revit using design automation for Revit, and got some problems with opening this model and exporting views in Forge, and have errors with memory limit. It can't open the model, and I've got errors that attempted to read write protected memory. It's one of the errors. The next one is process memory limit exceeded. I've written to Forge support team, and they said that everything okay with my bundle, and it's a problem with opening large files, maybe working with them, but there are no any specifications for file size that we can use in design automation for Revit. So can you tell me
Yeah,
about
so
that?
yeah, that's interesting. So how big is the file? What are we talking about here?
So files are near 600 megabytes for one, but as it's a linked model, it uploads from BIM 360 as a zip file, contains 4 models, and their all size is near 2 gigabytes.
Hmm.
It looks strange because it works for some models and doesn't work for others, even from those linked files.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm really not sure is it a problem in their file size.
And did you log that with our support system?
Yes, I've posted my work item IDs to the support team, and also I've posted them on Stack Overflow
Mm-hmm.
with some updates of these work items, because I tried to implement a failure processor to my bundle,
Mm-hmm.
and have different errors, but still have errors. But it works okay with small models. I have test models like 10, 20 megabytes just to.
Yeah, that's actually something that happens from time to time, right? And if you can share the support ticket number, we can definitely look at that again. But that happened before. So design automation runs on a machine pretty much like the same machine you have on your end. So it is possible that the machine is not supporting the complexity of the geometry that you are trying to open, right? It's not only the size, but the complexity of the geometry, how many attributes, how much memory is required. And yeah, that can be the case where the machine will not support that. What the design automation team is doing, and that's a constant effort, is to adjust the machine compute power for the needs of the individual work items, right? So if you can share the ticket number, I can definitely double check what was the case there.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I have ticket number 8795. Okay.
8795. Let's see what I can find quickly here.
And also, I have another question about support for Forge. Is there any type of paid support, like I don't know, for enterprise, something like that?
If you have is what for enterprise support?
Yeah, some support, not like just posting to Stack Overflow.
So the support on Stack Overflow is it's open. Everyone can use, right? And one of the great benefits of Stack Overflow is that there's the community behind it. Not only us at Autodesk helping you, but anyone else outside also using Forge. So that brings, for instance, someone else suggesting something that we are not thinking about, right? How to solve a problem. So if you have something that is public and there is no problem sharing on Stack Overflow, that's my recommendation, right? Because you can get the best ideas out there for your challenges. If you need a private support or something that you need to discuss with us individually, you can send email to forge.help@autodesk.com. That will work the same way. Now, if you have a EBA contract with Autodesk, which is some customers have that kind of contract with Autodesk, they have support from the EBA support team. But very often that support team will ask us to help with Forge specific questions. So our team is actually the best team to help with Forge related questions. And you can use either way, Stack Overflow or Forge help email alias. Those two options will come into the same list of questions for us to answer. And as I said, the benefit of Stack Overflow is have the community helping you with that.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to find something interesting here, but it's a very long thread. It will take me a lot of time to digest everything.
Yeah, I've just seen that I've scheduled a one-to-one meeting.
Yeah. So I'm just checking here. You said it is an IFC file that it's failing.
No, Revit file. It's open Revit file trying to export IFC of that.
Oh, okay. Export IFC. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's why I'm trying to read this as fast as I can. But yeah, it is a memory limit exceeded. So memory is not fully related to the file size. So that's why we don't document that, because there is no way to predict how much memory a module will consume. So what the team did is that they are planning to adjust that better. But still under development, how to adjust the memory size. So yeah, more to come on this. And yeah, thank you for the feedback and the information. This is definitely on the list for investigation.
Yeah, because I'm trying different tests to do that. Because first of all, I've tried to go through all IFC files that contain some names there, and now I'm trying to do that with publish settings to define a set and to add views that I need, and try to do it one by one, maybe to end thing. We'll see how it works. And another question that I had is there is an option to before I need to open a document, I can detach from it and preserve work sets. But is there any way to define work sets which I'd like to close when the document is opened? I've seen one hack to do that, but only in Revit app, and it was using some UI interface. But I can do that.
Work set, work sharing is not yet supported on Design Automation. That's something that we are working for. So yeah, I mean, if you're running Design Automation, you have to do it before running your automation.
Okay, and is there any easy way to check if the model is linked or not in BIM 360?
Yeah, so let me just, I think Manny raised hand. You want to compliment on here, Manny?
Yeah. No, just
okay, sure.
Going to the queue of questioning.
Yeah, so the linked files in BIM 360, there is an API to check for linked models. So you can definitely look for that. You can see what are the linked files in Revit. Linked files.
Yeah, I've seen that, but it takes a lot of time to understand if it linked with external models or not. Because right now I've implemented a solution in my plugin that I'm not importing as a zip file. I'm checking. If I have zip file, I'm use zip archivator to extract files. If it's not zipped, I use it.
Yeah, so linked files will often be converted to zip in BIM 360. So yeah, if you have a zip file, they are linked files for sure.
Okay.
So let me just switch quickly here. There is high mean, right? Hope I'm saying this right. Was asking about how to link PNID with 3D models. Actually, there is a sample on that. Let me switch here. It's you can click on the 3D and highlight in 2D, or connect them in a way. So it's always about what's the information that allow you to link from one to the other, right? So in this case, if we go to properties here, we see there is a tag information, which should be right here. So usually for PNID plant models, we have this tag information. That is a way for us to find the connection, right? So I know that the tag is on the 2D is the same as the tag in 3D. So what we do is, as we click here, find the element on the other one that contains the same tag. So I have to do this manually because the models are not the same model. So this is one DWG completely independent from the other DWG, right? Which is often the case for plant models. And so that's why I have to search for this information. If the model, if this is just one model with 2D views and 3D views, then I can use the DBID from the viewer, which is the same. But in this case, and this is most of the cases for plant, this is not the case, right? The IDs are different, the drawings are different, therefore I have to search for it. So this sample is implementing this, and you can definitely get that on GitHub, not GitHub. Let me get that here, repos, and go to plant. So that's that sample. You can try it out. Okay, so let me. So that was Thank you. Hi. So let me hand over to Manny. You raised your hand. Let's go ahead.
Thank you, Augusto. This example that was just shared is actually relevant to the question I wanted to ask. But my question is a little bit broader than that. We often get requests to have close integration between 2D drawings and 3D models. Sometimes the models that we get are Revit files, which I understand we can easily do that through Revit. But then other times that's not the case, right? It typically comes through Navisworks and it's been federated from several other models. So the example that you were showing was relying on tag, right, for cross-referencing components. Generally speaking, I wanted to see if you have any recommendations in terms of best practices for getting 2D and 3D linked to one another. I think this works for Revit, if I understand correctly. This also works for Civil 3D and perhaps AutoCAD files. But are there other ways by which integration can be done? For example, we may end up getting a Navisworks file that's being federated, but within that federated model, there are instances of Revit. So we might be able to pull the architectural 2D drawings into Forge. Are there any sort of high-level best practices that have been documented in terms of how best 2D and 3D should be integrated through Forge?
Yeah, that's interesting. So if we have if the 2D and 3D are part of the same file or just different views on the same file, that's very, very easy, right? Because the viewer will do that for us. The DBID of the element on 3D and 2D is the same, so it's very easy for you to track, right? Because it's built in. The challenge happens when the files are different. So the 3D file is not the same file as a 2D file. So in those cases, you have to look at the properties to find something that allows you to link from one to the other, right? So on that sample for plant, the tag is something that is widely used on plant models. So I know that this is stable or somehow stable between them, right? It's something that you type, but it's consistent. So that's how you do it. If you have models that are random models, you know it's really case by case. What is the property on the 3D that I can find and match on the 2D file? They are two independent files. I just have to match them by this string. Yeah, that's the key to connect. And when you start implementing, it's always about when I click on one, search on the other, and highlight on the other. When I click on the other, search on the one and highlight on the one. It keeps going back and forth. And it's always the same thing, you just have to change the property that you are using to establish the connection.
Sounds good. I have also a follow-up question. We've been interested in looking to bringing some of the GIS layers into a Forge viewer. The strategy that we took was the other way around, meaning we've taken data out of Forge Model Derivative API and we've mapped it into our own JS interfaces. I've seen some examples of bringing textured bitmaps, or rather tiles, from a JS system into Forge. Again, on that front, are there any sort of best practices that are recommended? And I'm asking this question in the context of what Model Derivative API does now, which is leveraging the GPS tags in the model to establish the world coordinate system for the model when the model is being converted. So is there any sort of documentation done on that front that you can share?
You wanna overlay GIS information?
Yeah, so let's say the other way around. We want to take, let's say we have a 2D drawing that is intelligent and we want to have that overlay on a JS map, yes.
Okay.
Not even as sophisticated as a 3D model, so we can keep this conversation on 2D.
I'm thinking because I think what we did before, did a few times, was to you can bring a map or map information into the viewer and overlay your data on top of that. And I think we do have a sample on it. I just have to find it. The other way would be, I think, would be much easier, is to have a map as your base, and then you have icons that would then, once you click, you go to the model instead. Yeah, I think it's really about the scale, right? So if you have a very large map, let's say city size map, and up to scale, and in those cases, something like Mapbox, Google Maps, they're very, very fast and consistent, right? You can do statewide maps really fast. And once you click on it, you go to the viewer to see that specific piece in 3D with your map, etc. So that's one way. That's how I did a few samples or a few projects in the past. The other way would be to add something like Mapbox API into the viewer, and I think that's the one we have a sample. Let me find here. I was trying to remember what was the name.
On Mapbox, that would be interesting.
Yeah, let me find.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking into using Mapbox, but our platform is more basic. We use Leaflet directly with the first group. Mapbox APIs over it.
See if I can find it. Where is it? So I think it's fairly old sample.
I think I found it. Are you referring to Mapbox Revit, the example?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Did you have it?
Yeah, I'm gonna put that here in the chat. I was just searching at the same time as you.
Yeah, faster than me.
Okay, I see it now. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. Yes.
In this
Yes.
case, you've brought in Mapbox into 3JS, and this is being layered on top of it. Is that correct?
Yeah, so in this case, you bring the Mapbox. Let me share my screen. And I was forgetting about that. So yeah, you have this you bring the use the Mapbox API to bring the 3D map into the viewer, and then you just draw. No, I believe that's the opposite way, right? So you have the Mapbox viewer on your web page, and then you just bring the Revit or viewer 3D geometry inside the Mapbox interface.
Oh, I see.
So I've seen that with Mapbox. I've seen that with ArcGIS as well. So that it's about the scale and who is the base, right? So in this case, Mapbox is the base because it's a very large scale, and where the viewer is not suitable, right? And viewer is very good with specific models, but not statewide, country size, countrywide map information.
And
And
how would you query the data in this case? Because if this is not built on Forge, are you loading in the metadata into the app?
so as I understand, and I don't remember exactly how it was how was implemented, but I think it's just a geometry at this point as GLTF.
Okay, got it. Okay, then you do some query. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting. It's interesting. The other way would be to have just a map and have a pin here that you click on the pin and then you resize and have a side panel with your model, which is a different approach for it.
Okay.
Remember to think what's the scale and the performance of your application. If you have like something very big that can be heavy for the viewer. Okay, so let me switch topics quickly, and we're starting to propose and release a beta of a calculator to help you use and understand your forge cost. And this is the website forge-calculator.autodesk.io, and here you can answer a few questions and get some rough estimate on how much cloud credits you would need. And let me get, for instance, Volodymyr was talking about Revit files, right? So let's say I wanna use the Revit engine to manipulate roughly 600 megabyte files, and I don't know what kind of task you're trying to execute. If it's just export to IFC, I would say it's a simple task. And so if you don't know what simple is, actually this is there is a help here explaining what is simple. It's just the medium. So the medium, 50% of all of the jobs will take this time to execute. So it's somehow of a safe bet. And let's say I'm running this 30 times a month, but just to understand better the numbers, the suggestion, this is very estimate, right? So help you understand, okay, I have a 600 megabyte, very simple job. I want to do it once a month. Let me add. So based on the average, or sorry, based on the medium we see on our history of jobs, it's most of those jobs will take 220 seconds to execute, and it's 6 credits per hour. And we can say that this kind of job will probably take 37.37 cloud credits. I'm curious to see if that's what you are seeing, Volodymyr, as well. If this is the numbers you are seeing, but it's based on the statistics, right? Looking at our systems, thousands of other jobs, how long it takes to execute them. If you believe that your job is average, not simple, and you just add again, in this case, 58.58 credits, or something that is very complex, and 800 seconds. So that's what we see on our history, the top 5%. And the maximum we see, it's very large, in this case, 800 seconds, 1.43. Again, this is the explanation about those numbers. So I was hoping to get some comments from you. What have you seen this? Have you did you have this question before? How to calculate and suggestions here?
Every month.
Yeah.
Yes, so this is great. The
And
question is, how do we get signed up for the beta program?
it's public. Just go here and try it out.
Okay, all right.
The beta that is states here is just that we're still working on it, and of course there is a disclaimer that this is just for no reference, of course, and this is for design automation. There is one here for mod derivative if I need to view or extract metadata. Let's say my files are on Box. I have Revit files. I have one model that is updated 30 times a month. Let me add. So again, that will do the math for me, and 45 cloud credits. If I delete, it will go away from here. Let's say I want to do generate meshes. That's how many pictures, what's the quality, how many times, and add again. I have the cost right here. I think the one that is probably most interesting for you is design automation, because it's based on the engine, the size, and the complexity that we expect. And there is a lot of additional information here to help you understand what it is that we are talking about here.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
So Manny, you said that you hear that all the time. What's the common question that you get? Typical question.
No, I mean, we've had conversation with the sales team at Autodesk, right? Obviously, for acquiring our own Forge credits. We always want to have an estimate of how much we may end up consuming per project. And of course, we had an eye on potentially leveraging BIM 360. We've not done that. I understand. I think we can query the SVF files from BIM 360 to reside on that side. But I don't know if that goes into the credit consumption. But anyway, this estimate is very helpful. At least we can plan for how much consumption we're expecting the project.
Okay. Yeah, if the files are hosted on BIM 360, then we do the translation, right? So let's say I have the same, I have a file that is on Box or other location, right? And I add here. So the cost will be 45. But if the file is hosted on BIM 360, we do the translation. So there is no need for you as an application to do it. So if I add here, you see that the cost is 0 because we do the translation. Yep. So you see that there is some benefit here. Chat window. So there is a question here from Hi that could you talk more about Forge APIs in Autodesk Build? If users create catalogs to control access to their accounts, could we get them to Forge? So Autodesk Build is one of the offerings we have, right? So it includes Autodesk Construction Cloud and a few of the modules. If they have Construction Cloud, they can enable Forge for that Construction Cloud for that account, and then applications can connect to that account. So Forge is actually the foundation of the products. They can use that an application can connect to the account. It's actually a matter of having the application and adding the permission on the account. Hope I'm answering your question. If I'm not, you can clarify a bit. So let me. So, okay, Volodymyr, you have a question? You've raised your hand.
Yeah. Also, I have a question about Webhook API.
Mm-hmm.
So I've used in my solution Webhooks just to trigger models that I need to export IVC from. First, my step was to update them to the new version, but Webhooks triggers only to the folder. So if some models are in the one folder, I can't create a webhook for every model. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have to create a webhook for the topmost folder, right? In BIM 360, that will be the project files. So create your webhook at the topmost folder.
Yeah, if I create a webhook for the project files, and I'll handle all the events that I have, like of that filter, or like filter of event, but I need to trigger only that were like functions that were made by me. So if there are 10 files, 10 models that were updated, I need maybe only one for doing that. So there is no way to.
Yeah, if you can set up the webhook per folder or per file, right? So if you do per file, you have to create new webhooks for each new file that is placed on the folder. So my suggestion is to do on the topmost folder, and then you have some attribute or way to filter the models, so you know that okay, this model I will process, this other model I will just skip. So you get a notification for everyone, and then decide what to do.
So I can add file name attribute to the filtering of the webhooks.
Not the filtering of the webhook. You get a notification.
Yeah.
On the notification, you have the name of the file, right? And then with that name or any additional information you have, you decide, okay, this one I'm taking action, this other one I'm skipping.
Okay, and another thing that webhooks, if I'm not response to them among 6 seconds, it will handle me again. Some cases we are using Azure to store our services, but sometimes it takes more time to answer, like to respond to that webhook. But in my case, after handling a webhook, I delete it. But even if webhook was deleted, it sends hooks to me.
So the webhook will try one, and if it does not get a response within 6 seconds, we will try.
Yeah.
So your code should reply okay as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Right, and then you do your processing. So probably on your Azure function, return okay, and then do your job, not return okay at the end.
Yeah, I do that, but it takes some time to maybe to wake up.
Okay, you have Azure
like
functions. You have Azure functions, right?
No, we're using app service, but some cases we're using Azure functions. Maybe we need to, even if we're using always wake on, it just triggers app service every 15 minutes. But sometimes webhooks triggers us between the time. But as I said, even I delete webhook, it will trigger me again through 2 days.
Okay, so that can be a problem. Then can you send us the webhook ID that you deleted and is still triggering? We can check that for you.
I'll create new one.
Okay.
And it'll do because it works with all webhooks. Because I'm retrieving a list of all webhooks. It is empty, but I'm getting them.
Okay. Yeah, send us the ID of the webhook, and we can check what happened to that one, if it was deleted, and what's the problem.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Sure. So we are just a bit over time. So thank you very much for coming today. The next coffee break will be in 2 weeks, same time, same link, April 21st. And I hope to see you there. Thank you for attending today. Hope you enjoyed. I will soon post the link with the post on Twitter, the recording, and the links of the blogs and the calculator and the other things we showed today. Thank you very much, and see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Goodbye.